Welcome back to the Live, Love, Lead podcast, a podcast designed to help you live, love, and lead well. I'm your host, April Nicole Scipio, and you are in for a treat today. I could not have asked for a better interview to end 2020. All this month, if you've been listening to the podcast, we've been talking about intentionality. If you've missed any episode, make sure to go back and listen. It has been so good. And today, as we're wrapping up our series on intentionality, I interview my great friend, Amanda Simon. I was thinking, okay, who can I bring on the podcast to really give us a picture of intentionality? And she was it. And so I'm so excited about the value that you're going to be brought today. If you are not a part of my Live Lovely community, oh my goodness, you need to be. We are a group of women and we're building authentic friendships centered around God's word, and we want to invite you to join us. So head over to Facebook after the podcast and join us today. Now, let's jump into this interview with Amanda. I'm April Nicole Scipio, and I'm a girl with a dream, a big dream, a dream to help you live, love, and lead. I am passionate about creating opportunities for you to become a better version of yourself. And I strongly believe it happens best inside of authentic community. I'm very excited to have created a podcast that inspires you to dream big, challenges you to grow, and gives you the tools to blaze the trail God has set before you. So get ready to build community, dig into God's word, and take practical steps so you can live, love, and lead well. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Live, Love, Lead podcast, a podcast designed to help you live, love, and lead well. I'm your host, April Nicole Scipio. So glad that you have joined in today. You are definitely in for a treat. All this month on the podcast, we've been talking about being intentional. And when I thought about, okay, who do I want to interview at the end of the month to really talk about intentionality, I thought about my friend, Amanda Simon. She is one of the most intentional people that I know. I know you will love her. I cannot wait for you to hear her. It's going to be awesome. I want to welcome Amanda to the podcast. So, Amanda, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm incredibly flattered to have been asked and for the kind words. Sometimes I feel like I don't always get it right. So the validation really pumped me up. Thank you.
Yes. Well, I know who you are because we are great friends, but just tell anyone who is watching or listening who you are, what you do, maybe what season of life you're in, really anything you want us to know.
Yes. So we'll just get all the hard questions out of the way up front. So my name is Amanda Dale Simon. That I do know for sure. I got married 2.5 years ago. So my first and middle names were Amanda Samero. My husband's last name is Simon. So think about that for a minute. It makes for some really fun initials scrawled across people's like investment paperwork. So I had a rare opportunity to just pick a whole new middle name. And so I went with Dale. That's my dad's name. So Amanda Dale Simon, that's me. I am in this beautiful, crazy season of life. Just to give you an example, we just had our census that came, and the first question is, how many people live in your house? And instantly I'm like doing some algebra. I'm like, okay, the answer is either 1, 2, 3, or 5. I could make a case for any of those things. If that just gives you an indication of what things are like for us. So we have 3 girls. They are 11, 13, and 15. They go to 3 different schools on 3 different school calendars. We live across 2 states. My husband and I are both self-employed in different states. So we have all the different rules and regulations that we have to keep up with there. We also have 2 dogs, the newest of which is on his 8th week of 2-week obedience training. So it could be going a little better in that department, but just controlled, beautiful chaos at all times around here. That's the season we're in.
I love it so much. We're talking about being intentional today. And obviously with your controlled chaos, you have to be an intentional person. What does that mean to you? What does being intentional look like or mean for you?
Yeah. So being intentional to me means living your life on purpose. So my husband is a coach. That's what he does. He's a business coach. And so I overheard him talking to someone else, but I thought this was so good. He said, everyone has a plan. The question is whether it's by design or by default. So life is going to happen to us, whether we're ready or not. So every single day, more and more life is coming at you. The kids have to get to play practice. The hot water heater is broken. Somebody is cranky at work. Whatever it is, it's just really, really easy to find ourselves in this place where we're fighting the fight to get through today, and we lose the sight of where we're trying to go in this lifetime. And I've done a lot of work recently. There's a great program. It's a woman named Emily Fletcher, Ziva, if anybody's interested in it. It's a meditation course. But she said something I thought was so good. She said, living a life without intention is like having a GPS and not putting in an address. So put in an address, you can get yourself to California. You don't put in an address, you might spend your whole life just circling your block. So try to figure out where it is that you're going. Because one day this life is going to be over. And I encourage you to take a minute and mentally try to put yourself in that place. When I'm there and I'm looking backwards, what are things that are most important that I have accomplished? And that should be your intention. So, is it to build a family? Do you have a message to share? Do you want to create something to share with the world that's useful or beautiful? Whatever it is, try to identify it and then work yourself backwards. And the beautiful thing about setting intention is you don't have to have the plan today. You have to know that you're trying to get to California, but you don't have to know what road you're going to take to get there. Just set the plan and move your feet, and the rest of it will start happening. And it may not happen in the timeline that you want. It may not look the way you want. You may change the goal altogether. You may be trying to get to California, end up in Hawaii, and that'd be all right. But set your intention, and you will get there.
Yeah. I love how you say you may not know the whole plan, because I think that holds people back sometimes. They're like, I want to know the 25 steps before I take the first step. But it's like, if you know step one and you're intentional about step one, then eventually you'll get to the destination. And I know in your own life, you've experienced a lot of success. How has your intentionality really contributed to the success that you're experiencing?
Yeah. I would say in so many ways. So I feel so privileged to have this life that I'm really proud of. I have an unbelievable husband. I have 3 children that are smart and they are kind-hearted. I have a career that I love. I have a network of amazing people that support me and lift me up. And I don't think that happened by mistake, because I can look at different points in my life on each one of those things and tell you when I did not have that. Those are things that I actively sought and tried to build and create space in my life for. And I'm not going to lay out my whole life because I know we got a short period of time, but I'll give you the example of what I do for work. So I thought in my younger days that I was going to go to law school. And so when I was working in the master's program, my life shifted in a minute, because that's what life does sometimes. And I needed to bring money home today for my family. And so I did that because that's what needed to happen. And then as life went on, I started realizing that this dream is getting further and further away. And rather than giving up in defeat, I just really tried to boil down, like, what was that going to do for me? What was I trying to achieve by doing that? And I boiled it down to 3 things. So the first thing is that I wanted to make a comfortable income. So there's this species of human being that are out there that I'm completely envious of, that are cool with their last dollar being spent because they're going to figure out how to get another one tomorrow. And you know what? They always do. I cannot do that. I have to know how the bills are going to get paid 5 months from now, or I can't sleep right now. So I needed some financial security. The second thing was I wanted some flexibility. So the money is no good if you are a slave to it. If all the time is spent making money and it is not enjoying the people and the experiences that it's there to help facilitate a lifestyle around, what good did it do me? So I don't want one without the other. And then the third thing was that I knew when I went to bed at night, I had to feel like I made a difference or I helped. And the thing that I know about myself is I can't work in a hospital. I can't work at the homeless shelter because I cannot emotionally separate. So I wanted a way to help that gave me a little bit of a buffer. And so I let go of the idea of going to law school, and I just tried to focus on those three things as an intention, and just kept moving my feet. That was my job: focus and move your feet. And so that's what I did. And so I started out as one girl that just kind of had this dream. I've never taken a business class to date. I had no real money to invest. I had no experience. I have a dream. And fast forward 15 years later, the plan started unwinding itself for me. And today I have this team of 6 amazing people. They're just amazing human beings. They can move mountains, and they help me do things I could never have done on my own. So we run an insurance company and a mortgage company out of the same office, and I oversee that. But in the day to day, they're the ones that are doing it. And if I may brag on them just for a minute to kind of give you a magnitude of how spectacular they are, we're in a little bitty office in little bitty Russellville, Kentucky. And we rank ourselves amongst 19,000 other agencies all over the United States. So Los Angeles, New York, everybody. And currently they're ranked at number 33. So they're getting it done at a very high level. And the way that they do that is by setting intention. So we never turn our phones on or open the door, that we don't meet with each other face to face and say, what are we trying to do today? Who are we trying to help? How do we get in front of them? And what does that look like? And plenty of days, it never turns out the way that we thought, but the end goal is still there. Sometimes the day has us and we have to modify the plan, and that's all right because they know where they're going.
Yeah.
And them doing that and focusing on that allows us to create a revenue stream that allows me to plug in the place that I feel like I bring the most value to people, which is financial planning. So in middle America, there is this very, very real need for people needing to be intentional with their money and having a plan to do it. It is not taught to us, it is not given to us. And by trade, financial planners typically have to have very big accounts they work with because we get paid very small percentages, or they have to charge a fee. And that is a barrier to entry for a lot of people. Yeah. So my team handling those things for me frees me up with no pressure or obligation to say, how do I keep my lights on when I'm building a plan for someone? It allows me to say what makes sense for you. And it brings me so much joy. I never get tired of it. I feel so fulfilled every time someone leaves my desk and says, I feel so much better. I knew I needed to do something and I didn't know what. I feel so much better.
Yeah. So. Man, so much in that. I love that. I love how, and when you were telling your story of earlier in life, how you had to make a pivot and you didn't let that hold you back. You were like, okay, the plan's changing, but I'm still going to be intentional. And I think that's so huge because some people in life, they have their mindset on one thing and they're being intentional. But then, like you say, life happens and they let it throw them way off to where they stop being intentional and stop moving forward. And I love that. Can you share about a time where maybe you knew you had to be intentional, but you can identify with people who are like, you know what, I need to be intentional, but I'm struggling here. Maybe I'm overwhelmed. I'm not doing anything. How did you pull yourself out of that and have just the motivation really to go ahead and move forward?
Yeah. So if I may, let's back up a little bit and talk about why it's hard to be intentional. Because I think that sometimes people internalize that and they just go, April's got it together and she's just so disciplined. And like all these things were just gifted to you. It's work. We all get it wrong. And it is by human nature. We are built to be not intentional human beings. So if you're feeling that way, you're rowing in the boat with the rest of us. So the why is it hard to be intentional? In sales training, if you've ever done any of that, they talk a lot about lizard brain. In science, we talk about the reticular activating system. We all love to use the term fight or flight, and they're all talking about the same phenomenon, which is so true, and it shapes every one of our lives every day. So my crude explanation of that is this. Our brain is hardwired with something whose only job is to keep us safe. And so it's dealing with millions of pieces of data at any moment, and it screens through anything that is not a threat. So if your wall has been painted yellow for 5 years and it is still yellow, you can't even notice it anymore. Not a threat. It hasn't killed us. We don't care about it. But if you start to smell smoke, somebody jumps up from behind you that you didn't know was there, your kids get a little bit too quiet. All of a sudden, your brain says, oh, you've got to focus on that because that might be danger. And it is designed to help us. The problem is there's no severity level. So it cannot tell the difference between somebody fussed at me in traffic and I'm cornered by a viper. It cannot do that for you. And so what happens is our brains get overloaded by constantly feeding us danger. Here's some more danger. Here's some more danger that like mentally we cannot focus on anything else. Because your brain does not care what your long-term plan is if it thinks you're about to get eaten by a lion right now. So in that way, it kind of does us a disservice, and you have to be intentional about being intentional, or you just are stuck in that space, right? So I've been through that many, many times. I would almost argue that I fight that on a daily basis. But one big example of that in my life is I went through this period of time where everything just seemed to happen all at once. So within a few months, I moved to a place that I knew zero people. I went from having a paycheck that went into my checking account every 2 weeks to opening a business that had no paycheck. The only guarantee was that the bills were going to come due. I got divorced, and I had a couple of other really big whammies that all just seemed to hit at the same time. And I was just a complete mess. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I felt awful. And any way a person can feel awful, like physically, emotionally, spiritually, I was just completely drained. And I didn't have any plan in place. The only thing that I could do was survive. So you hear people talk about taking things one day at a time. I had myself on like a 15-minute plan. I'm like, I can't even think about the day. Like I would just make this agreement with myself. I'm going to make 3 phone calls. And then I'm going to let myself go to the bathroom and cry for 3 minutes. And then I'm going to come back and do something else productive. Like that is what it took to get through a day. And that's all right because that's what I could do. But there was no thinking about the long-term plan or anything that was not immediately in front of me. And I think there were a few things that helped me get back on track. So the first one is time. I feel like we over or underestimate how important that is. Healing, grieving, they take time. We just need space. We get impatient with ourselves. We are overcome with the pain and we want to be through it now. But sometimes you just have to know that you have to sit with it for a little while and eventually it's going to get better. The second thing is that I had a really great support system. And so I feel like the days I felt like I couldn't do it anymore, there was always somebody that said, I'm not going to let you fall. I get all emotional about that. But you need somebody's voice that's not yours sometimes to say, I know that this is hard, but you've got to brush this day off and we're going to start again tomorrow because it won't always be this bad and you're building something worth living for. Yeah. Like I can remember my mom saying to me once, I'm like, I just can't. And she's like, you have to. I'm sorry, but you just have to. Yeah. It's like, you're right. There's no point in wallowing in this. I better get a plan because I do. I have to. There's no way through it but to go through it. Yeah. And then the last thing is reading. I love to read. I love to learn. I'm addicted to tidbits of information. I'm always trying to give them to other people. So anything that I could find that I thought would have the tiniest hint of how to build a better life, a more stable life, a happier life, I was all over it. So book after book, podcast after podcast. Sometimes I would just do them on repeat and listen to them over and over. Yeah. But it's like I just latched on to anything good that someone else had done to build themselves up until I felt strong enough to put a plan in place for myself. Yeah. And I think that really helped. So even, I guess I would say in all of the chaos, though I didn't realize it, I probably did set an intention. And that intention was to get to a better place. Yeah. And when the worst of it had passed and I had gotten to a better place, then I could start to think even more long-term from there. But I mean, sometimes the intention has to be, let me figure out how to get myself through the day. Yeah. And that was the place that I started.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for just your openness and transparency, because I know there are so many people who can identify with this right now. And I have so many parts of your story I love. I love how you just did what you could, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're in a bad place, we want to do all the things and then we look at it and it's so overwhelming and we're like, I can't. But you were
Yeah.
like, what can I do today? Even if it was for a few minutes. I love that. And then one of our core values with the Live Lovely community is community. Like, we're a community. We
Yeah.
truly believe we're better together. So I love how part of your story involves people, because life is so hard and we can't do it alone. And we have to be intentional about allowing people in, right? Especially when we're struggling, and we want to be intentional about getting past that. We've got to be intentional about letting people in, letting them see us in our most vulnerable spots. And so that is amazing. What would you say to someone who's listening to this and they could identify with you? They're like, oh my goodness, I'm struggling right now. Like, I see parts of me in your story and I want to be intentional, but I just am so overwhelmed and I'm not doing anything. What would you say to someone like that?
I would start by saying you're not alone in that. I mean, just repeat of before, but we are all there. It's hard to be intentional. We have all struggled. Um, and it's okay to be in that place, but it's not okay to stay in that place. And you have all the tools you need to build a better life for yourself. You do. You just got to give it some time and start building as slowly as it takes. Start building a plan for yourself. So, in a perfect world, I would say build strong habits and try to build them when you're in a good place. So when life starts coming at us, we've talked about this. Our brain just says, focus on the danger. It's a hierarchy. I can only deal with the most deadly thing. And it's going to be hard to start building habits there. If you have to, I think you can. But if you're in a good place, find the thing that helps you find center. Where can I get some space in my life? Where can I get some clarity? It's different for everybody. There's not a wrong one. Is it meditation? Is it prayer? Is it journaling? Is it sitting in the woods? Is it jogging? Whatever the thing is that you will do, start doing it every day. Because when we get into crazy mode, we go back to habits, which sometimes aren't good ones, but it's also really powerful because we can build great ones. So if you've already built a space in your life to be intentional by creating a good habit, when things get crazy, you're just going to retreat back to it. It's already there for you. And so I would argue that once you start, it gets easier and easier. It's like so many things. The start is the hard part, but once you start the plan, it's just going to work for you. So again, just start moving your feet. The other thing that I would say is to write it down. So I've spent half of a decade wanting to open my own business. I have dreamed about it forwards, backwards. I had lived every scenario in my head 1,000 times. And as soon as I opened the doors and the floodgates opened, everything I ever knew was gone. And I remember talking to a friend of mine, and I said, I know that I wanted this so badly, but for the life of me, I cannot even remember why I did this. And I was dead serious, like, no clue. Why am I doing this? And she just started to repeat back to me all the things that I have said, all the reasons I told her that I wanted to do it through the years. And it gave me this breath of fresh air. I'm like, that's right. That's the perspective. I've got, renewed energy to go and deal with these problems. But if she had not said that, it's like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I'm fighting so hard and I don't know why. So my advice to you, if it is a relationship, a job, I want to run a marathon, is going to be hard. All good things are hard. But write down in the good times, why am I even doing it? Particularly with business owners, anyone that is starting a business, I always give that advice. I have no idea if anyone takes it, but write it down. And in the weak moments, get that out and look at it. Remind yourself why you're fighting.
Yeah. I love that so much. This is so good. I love to write as well. And so for me, writing is a way for me to process stuff. Like if I have an idea or even if I'm feeling a negative emotion, just me writing it down helps me process. And for me, it helps me stay in a healthy space. And so, oh my goodness, this conversation has been so good. I love all of this. I love how you said good things are hard because, that's so important because if we want something, it's worth fighting for, right? It's worth, not that it all has to be hard, but when it is hard, we're willing to fight and still be intentional because we know it's going to be good in our lives. And I love that. Amanda, just give us some final words of encouragement. Anyone who's listening, and I know I'm fired up, so I know people are listening and they're fired up and they're like, all right, 2021's coming and I want to be super intentional. What are some last words of encouragement for the people who are like so fired up right now and they are ready to take steps toward being more intentional in their life?
I would say start today. If you've got the energy and you're excited about it right now, do it right now. And think about what is the thing that I will do. So like, how many times have I started a workout program? I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to do this P90X for 90 days. I'm going to hit it so hard. And then in day 4, I'm like, I forgot I hate this. This is not my thing, but I will yoga every day. Like it's the best thing that's ever happened. So I need to do the yoga. I'm not a P90X girl. So what does it look like? What is the thing that you will stick with that helps you be intentional? Is it writing it down? There are journals that are created for it. There's 1,005 books that are out there, but find the one that you will stick with. Once you do, remember that progress is not linear. So progress does not, people want to go like this. And it's probably more like this, that over time, we're getting there. But in the day-to-day, we feel the small dips of it. And it's easy to throw our hands up in frustration and say, well, I'm just not built for this. I got it wrong. I didn't expect it to be this way. Expect it. Expect it. We never know what life is going to throw at us, but we know that it is. So is it going to be the hot water heater that goes out next or the roof that's going to leak? I don't know. One of my kids going to be acting out or am I going to be cranky and said something I wish I could take back? I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. But we all know it's going to happen. So be ready for it. And when it shows up, it's easier to deal with when you can go, okay, I knew you were coming. This is what you look like. And I'm not going to let it derail me. So progress isn't linear. Also, be kind to yourself. And I'm talking to myself as much as everyone else, but we're harder on ourselves than we would ever be to anyone around us. You are going to mess it up. You are going to forget something. You are going to be late to something. You are going to sit next to a load of unfolded towels and watch Netflix. And that is just what it is. It is going to happen. And we can't get married to what we did wrong yesterday and let that determine what today looks like. So whatever that is, brush it off and just pick it right back up tomorrow because we're not looking for perfection. We're not capable of perfection. Persistence is what wins the game. And persistence is the thing that we do when it's easy and we double down and go twice as hard when it's hard. So be persistent.
Oh, so good. Y'all need to make sure you go back and re-listen to this episode because Amanda has just given us so many just amazing nuggets of truth to help us in our life. Amanda, you are amazing. I appreciate you so much. If someone wants to connect with you or follow up or just drop you a message like, hey, I want to know more about this, or I identify with that, where can they connect with you? Where can they find you and your business?
Yeah. So Facebook, we're pretty active on Facebook. We're on there pretty much every day. If anybody wants to reach out that way, you can find me through Amanda Simon is my personal page. We also have Amanda Simon Insurance Agent, which will get you in touch with the State Farm office, Simon Mortgage Company. And if you need any help, like if that's resonating that I need a financial plan, reach out. And truly, any way that we can help. If you're wanting to talk about a business, you're wanting to get a plan in place for personal development, because I'm a little bit of a junkie about reading all of that stuff. I would love to help in whatever way I can. And I'm sure there are a lot of things out there that you all could share with me that I would love to know too. So please reach out.
Yay. Thank you so much. This has been so fun.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been amazing. If you have had any value today, and I know you have, I want to make sure that you hit the share button on this episode. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And if you are not already a part of my Live Lovely community on Facebook, make sure to join that today. We're a group of women, and we're building authentic friendships centered around God's word. And we want to invite you to be a part of that. This has been so amazing. This has been just an amazing episode to end our year. Guys, make sure we are heading into 2021 full of intentions and ready to take action. And I'll see you guys next time. Until then, go live, love, and lead well. Have a great day. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Shout out to the production team because teamwork makes the dream work. It would mean so much if you would rate and review this podcast to make it easier for other people to find. Then hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. To stay updated and for more free resources, head over to the website, aprilnicolescipio.com. Now go live, love, and lead well.